Happy New Year. My mantra this year is New Year, same me. Because the way I see it, me as I am right now, I'm a person that's always looking to grow, to improve my life. Why would I want to rid myself of that? Why do I want to be a new me? The old me has done a pretty damn good job. When I think back, because New Year's is just this reflective time. So I'm thinking back to 2020 when I started asking for what I wanted and when I started weighing my needs over the needs to do things for the sake of approval, for people pleasing, how much my life has changed since then. At the time, it was terrifying, and I had no idea how much benefit it would have for me and that I'd still be seeing the benefits of some of these decisions today. So, in the past 3 years now, I've had so many opportunities present themselves all because I was at my best. For example, when I was in fellowship, my second year fellowship was 2020. And I negotiated myself out of clinic in order to work on a public health project, basically to do some pandemic work, outreach, drive-through testing, to develop and to run these programs. I really had the chance to be creative. And in that period, I came up with solutions that still, in reflection, surprised me. My impact on the community and my impact on my reputation with the doctors, the staff, the medical directors that I worked with, I'm still reaping the benefits from. I just got an email where the CMO I used to work with thought of me when she read a particular job description for a medical director. And I recognize exactly at that moment that it was because I made the decision to ask for exactly what I wanted, to not think about how it would look if I asked not to be in clinic, especially as a pediatric fellow. That is what has resulted in job offers like the one that I'm getting in my email. So I want to be more of me than I've ever been. I don't want to shrink away. I want to express myself and everything that I want. I think it also helps to consider that, generally speaking, when I get more of what I want, other people around me benefit. And that's not the primary reason for me doing it. The primary reasons for me negotiating was self-preservation, especially in medicine. But self-preservation also led to the effect that I had when I was not doing self-preservation, which was to benefit those around me, to create really positive outcomes for patients, for my community, to have long-lasting impact. It's funny that in previous years, I thought that would come from self-sacrifice, and it really didn't. I was small, I was stifled, and now that I've chosen this different path, that I've chosen self-preservation, the rippling effects outward are so much greater and so much better. So I've literally continuously been rewarded for choosing what is best for me. I also, for this year, really want to focus on believing that what I want also wants me. I think that's one of our biggest fears is that people don't want to meet our needs or are not going to meet our needs. And so I'm going to spend a little bit more time examining that fear closely because that fear often tells me that what I want most is what others want to deny me of. If I'm negotiating, for example, I assume that the person I'm negotiating with is in opposition to me. So if I want more money, they don't want to give it to me. And that one might be true, but it also might be true that the value of the money is less than the value of having someone like me on their team. In other words, they might be willing to part ways with their money because what I'm providing is just worth so much more than that dollar amount. Therefore, they're much more likely to want to part ways with that money, right? That is much more a possibility than my thought of I'm asking for something they don't want to give. All of this came from action because I think about it in terms of how do I get my clients same or similar results, right? So my coaching program is the Any Day Negotiator, and I work with Black doctors to get them what they want at work. And I like to examine my own personal journey as it is the fodder for the creation of this program and therefore the results of my clients. And so when I examine my own history, my own story, I think about what it took for me to take action because I'm a doctor, like many of you listening, and we love a research phase. We want to be sure that what we're doing is the right choice. We want to be really aware about all the decisions we're making and the potential impact it's going to have. And some of that keeps us from not acting or takes us a really long time to make progress, or we have a hard time seeing the progress because we're so afraid of the action. When I think about my clients and what does it mean for them in the program, what are the steps they need to do? I don't want them to sit around thinking about everything that needs to be happening. I want them to be doing because it is in doing that we reap the reward. You can only enjoy the view after you've made the climb or taken the leap. Think about a zip line. You may have an idea of what the view is, but it's not until after you've signed that 20-page waiver signing away your rights if you die, strap into the harness, climb some crazy ladder or staircase, whatever little put together structure they have to get you up that tree and onto that platform. And then you have to leap off of that platform with just a helmet and some hope. And I guess some rope too, tied by Lord knows who. That's like a little poem. You heard that rhyming? But all of that to see the tops of the trees and feel the wind on your face and experience what it's like to soar. You can't do any of that by thinking. You have to be doing, you literally have to be doing in order to reap the reward. A lot of us get stuck in the thought phase, the planning phase. But I really want to encourage you to start taking action this year. For me, my plan is to do all of the things. I'm working on the dreams that I have set, and I'm doing this with more passion this year because of the things I accomplished in years past. I'm really proud of the things I accomplished in 2023. I completed a full year of the podcast. My business became profitable for the first time. It's now self-sustaining. I don't have to put in any money from my own personal accounts or from my clinical income towards running the business, towards paying for my virtual assistant. My clients are seeing results. I'm taking on more new clients and they are seeing results faster. I have developed the program in new ways. I have more material that I'm teaching. In my personal life, a lot of things happened. I froze my eggs this year, really personal to me. I have not talked about it on the podcast. I probably won't talk about it on the podcast. I went on a lot of trips, not as much as 2022. 2022 was like an amazing year for me. I hit peak travel. I went to 7 countries and 7 or 8 states. I only worked 6 months out of the year, some by choice and some by happenstance. I took the world's longest flight from New York to Singapore. It was 18 hours and 40 minutes. I went to Bali with a group of complete strangers. And I believe it was one of my best years of life so far. So 2023, if I sat and thought of it in reference to 2022, I would have said, oh, but that year was better and I could have done differently. But if you look at it from a deficit point of view, you will not see what you've accomplished because 2023 was a great year. I mean, it was a dumpster fire for Earth and globally, but personally, I accomplished a lot of goals. Really believing in myself and believing in my program made it possible for me to have the kind of results that I had, the kind of results my clients have had, turning down a lot of opportunities that came my way that were not necessarily good opportunities for me, but just even being open to that, negotiating through some of that, negotiating for a higher rate clinically. I was doing a survey the other day in a different physician group. The survey is to look at, rates of pay, things that people have negotiated in a locums job. It's a locums group, and it has everyone from every subspecialty fill out this survey and say what their rates were, what they've been able to negotiate. I did mine anonymous. I mean, it's anonymous. I did it anonymously. I submitted, and then I went and looked at the results from what the other doctors had inputted. And I was the highest paid pediatrician on that spreadsheet. I was like, wow, imagine that without having a point of comparison to other people, I still managed to negotiate and come out on top. And that is literally the result I want for all of you and for my clients. And it all comes down to doing. I could have said that I wanted to look at what other people were doing and use that as a measure. And if I had, I would not have made as much money clinically as I did last year. If I had said I want to stick to what is reasonable, I don't want to be unreasonable, I wouldn't have the rate I earn now. This year for 2024, I'm banishing the word unreasonable because who gets to decide? I'm sure someone somewhere has already decided that I'm their version of unreasonable. And sorry to that man, like our good sister of common sense, Kiki Palmer says, sorry to that man. I do not know him. And his thoughts are not my problems. Let's be real. What other people think is none of your business. If I had made the decision to stick to data like the MGMA data that tells you what's a reasonable rate of pay, I would have made a lot less money per hour than I made this year. So I'm going to stick to my own logic and reasoning and understand that what I bring to the table is worth the value that I set. And I'm going to negotiate for that rate and keep it moving. I want you to also take a moment to reflect on all you've accomplished for the past year and even before that. I guarantee you there are things on your younger self list that you thought were merely aspirational. And now you've done them because you decided to do that. There's nothing else to it. You have to just decide. Like I was saying, when I reflected on 2023, it was a great year for me. I did 3 countries. I did travel to maybe 5 or so states. I went to New Orleans twice last year. And one of those trips was an impromptu 48-hour visit where I stayed at the Waldorf Astoria and went to see Beyonce. Worth it? Absolutely. And I have even bigger dreams for 2024. I already have 6 trips potentially on my roster. I have plans to grow my coaching business a lot. I have invested in a mastermind that is going to help me scale at a newer level. Within my business, I want doctors to be able to live dream lives. I have found that the pathway to making things come to fruition is through the negotiation framework that I designed for my program. I'm looking forward to all the docs that join the program and that I'll be able to help find their way to more money, more vacation, better work environments, less burnout, depression, anxiety. All of these things are the benefits to negotiating for what you want. I just told you the direct benefit of me negotiating for less clinic time was that now I have a solid reputation of being able to build beautiful programs from my own creativity that has offered me more job offers than I can possibly even do. I have told you that negotiating at a higher rate, actually the highest rate that I've seen for pediatricians, has allowed me to earn enough money clinically where I worked 2 days a week from September through December and I was able to maintain my lifestyle. I don't actually take profit out of my coaching practice. So for those of you, and I will this year, that is a change. But for those of you who are like, oh, but you also have a coaching practice that's profitable. Yeah, but I don't use that money for anything other than reinforcing my business, doing things that are supportive to my business. And I'm going to start doing that this year because I'm doing the work I need to pay myself. But my clinical role and my money from my clinical experience of working 2 days a week is what has sustained me. It's because I negotiated for those rates, because I negotiated for those schedules, for the flexibility to travel when I want to, is what has allowed me to travel to 10 countries in 2 years. What has allowed me to go to Beyonce at short notice for 48 hours. What's going to allow me to take my mom to Cabo next month for her birthday. I have been able to be more generous, more creative, pour more back into my community in very specific ways because I earn more, because I require more, because I have negotiated for more. There are a million things you want to do. And right now, it's possible that you think the way to do that is to dig down and rely on your main job, to be a team player, to not ruffle feathers. But I'm going to tell you right now, those are not the tools that are going to take you forward. The tool that's going to take you forward is negotiation. I encourage you to reach out to me, to let's get on a call and talk about how my program can serve you, how you can get the goals that you're hoping to achieve. It's not just my belief, it's that my framework has helped others, continues to help others, will help hundreds more people in the future. Because once I scale, I'll be able to just help even more doctors get what they want. And who knows, I might expand outside of doctors, right? I might build and just help Black women who are on a particular path. I don't know yet. The point is, I have options because of what I've made possible for myself, because of what I've declared for myself. And knowing that this is my goal has kept me on track, has kept me from backtracking and agreeing to things like more clinical days, like practices that require me to be full time. It has kept me from agreeing to those kinds of environments that I knew I didn't want out of a fear that maybe I wouldn't be able to find something else, or maybe I wouldn't be able to afford what I've been able to do. I'm so excited for 2024. You know, that new year has that new energy, that motivational energy, and I want to use that as a launch pad to get you moving. But we know that energy does not last, probably even into next week. But what does last is my framework and the accountability that you get in a program like mine. Reach out to me. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll be back starting guest episodes soon. I already have quite a few people that I want to share with you, that I'm looking forward to having them share their stories so that you can continue to see what is a possibility for you when you take action, when you show up as yourself. So until then, bye, y'all.